Hello. On this video, we're going to see how to find the trigonometric functions based on the terminal point of a given angle. There are several approaches, several methods that you could use, but we're going to use this one here. So the angle that we're given is minus 5 pi over 6. You could do everything directly from that angle, but you could also find a positive coterminal angle between 0 and 2 pi. In order to do that, we know that half a circumference is going to be 6 pi over 6, and the whole circumference is going to be 12 pi over 6. To find a positive coterminal angle, you just have to add 12 pi over 6, and you're going to get, looks like 7 pi over 6. That means that a positive coterminal angle between 0 and 2 pi is 7 pi over 6. But if you feel comfortable using negative angles, that is fine as well. So if this is 6 pi over 6 right here, it means that if you're using the negative, you're coming like this, and you're going to get to minus 5 pi over 6, so just before minus 6 pi over 6. Looks like our angle is going to be around here. If you use the positive, 7 pi over 6 is going to be this way, and you're going to get to 6 pi over 6, and then this is going to be either as a positive 7 pi over 6 or as a negative angle minus 5 pi over 6. Either way, you're going to get there. The quadrant looks like we're on quadrant number 3. This is quadrant number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. That means that we're on quadrant number 3. Then the reference angle is the distance, or how far we are from the x-axis. So we are pi over 6 radians away from the x-axis. Is this angle right here. Only the distance, and it's always positive. So we're going to write it as pi over 6. On this kind of problems, as I told you, the reference angles are going to end up being either pi over 6, pi over 4, or pi over 3. In this case, pi over 6. On the third quadrant, if you notice, you're on the negative x-axis, and you're also on the negative y-axis, a part of the axis. So it's going to be a coordinate as negative and negative. Now, let's turn our attention to this angle right here. We're using a reference angle of pi over 6. That angle produces a coordinate of square root of 3 over 2, comma 1/2. That means that this coordinate down here has to use the same values, but we have to use the appropriate signs. In this case, we're going to use the values as they are, square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. Then we're going to use the signs that we already know from the previous field. Both are going to be negative. That's the terminal point of this angle. If you want to place it here, it means that that coordinate right there is minus the square root of 3 over 2, comma, minus 1/2. That's the coordinate over there, and everything was based on the fact that this was the quadrant, and this was the reference angle and the coordinate of that reference angle. It's basically kind of like a reflection of that coordinate right there. Now, if you already have the terminal point, finding the trigonometric functions, it's going to be fairly simple because over here we're told that sine uses the y value, and the y value here is minus 1/2. Directly, we're going to write minus 1/2 over here. Cosine is equal to x, and we already have x of our terminal point. The answer is going to be minus the square root of 3 divided by 2. And to find tangent, just divide y by x. In this case, y is equal to minus 1/2, and we're going to divide it by minus the square root of 3 divided by 2. So it looks like we're going to end up having negative divided by negative, a positive answer. Then we're going to divide 1/2 by the square root of 3 over 2. Looks like we're going to end up with 1 divided by the square root of 3. But we still need to rationalize that answer by multiplying both numerator and denominator by the square root of 3. And the answer is going to look like this. The square root of 3. And down here, we're going to get over 3. Let's write that down. This is going to end up as positive and the square root of 3 over 3. To find the reciprocals, you have to divide 1 by y or 1 by sine to find cosecant. In this case, if you do 1 divided by minus 1/2, you're going to end up with minus 2 or minus 2 over 1. So in a way, you're just flipping your fraction over, and on the second one, you could flip it, but you're going to need to rationalize that answer. This is going to end up as minus 2 divided by the square root of 3. That means that we still need to rationalize this answer by multiplying both numerator and denominator by the square root of 3, just like we did over here. And you're going to end up with minus 2 times the square root of 3 divided by 3. So then the sign is going to be the same on both sine and its reciprocal, cosine and its reciprocal. Finally, tangent, we're going to flip it, but if you flip it just as it is, you're going to end up with 3 divided by the square root of 3. And if you rationalize that or just use this directly, the answer is going to be the square root of 3.